Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on into the Bluegrass Boost Battle presented by Gen G Mobile One Racing. They've got a great opportunity for you here. You can join Gen G in Seoul, Korea to enjoy the cultural aspect of Korea and all it has to offer, as well as getting hands-on experience on what it is like to work with a global Tier 1 esport organization. What can participating students come to expect?
They can come to expect they can gain an understanding of the esports industry, its challenges, and its opportunities. They can experience firsthand the operational aspects of leading an esports organization. They can understand the value of practical problem solving in a fast-paced environment, discover professional strengths and weaknesses, develop critical project management skills, gain key work skills that are applicable within and beyond the esports industry, and explore and be immersed in Seoul itself.
A great opportunity for all of you who want to get hands-on experience with a Tier 1 esport in Seoul, Korea. Again, you can go sign up and put the application in. And let's get on back to some more Bluegrass Boost Battle action, though. We got Purdue Gold taking on St. Clair Gold, excuse me.
Purdue Gold taking on St. Clair Gold. There's so many golds back and forth there. I was trying to figure out if you had that or not.
Yeah, there's golds all over the place. But let's talk about these two teams here, because St. Clair Gold, if I remember correctly, this is their first event playing with this roster of 3.
Yes, we were talking to Purdue outside, and Purdue said that Enchanted specifically said that he was confused by the kind of mismatch of the team that it is, because I know Fabso isn't here, who is on St. Clair Gold. So they have Fatal, who stepped up from the academy team, I believe. And then they have Barist, right?
Barist, yes.
Barist,
and this is Barist's first LAN back to competing. And quote from him here, he says that he feels good and nobody should underestimate him. I mean, he is a very good competitor. He wants to prove it out on the pitch. And again, also St. Clair, they haven't had really any competition together until they just started this week. So the 3 of those guys playing together, it's a good test to see how well they are able to do here.
I agree. And a good litmus test is none other than Purdue Gold. Purdue Gold, a team that you and I both have had some eyes on through the CCS work that you not only do, plus myself, but I mean, that Purdue Gold has been a team you guys over at CCS argue for being in like the top 10 and like top 25 pretty regularly, actually.
Yeah.
So y'all are very familiar with those 3 players.
They are also very familiar with each other because they've been playing together for a long time. I mean, Duck and Enchanted together have been playing for nearly 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is Enchanted's final semester at Purdue, so this is his last ever BBB. Looking for a great performance here. 2 years ago, Purdue ended up getting to the grand finals. I think they ended up losing, getting second place, but it speaks to the level of competition where we've gone from here, where Purdue, they were a amazing team like 2 years ago, and then even at the last BBB, they weren't able to qualify to make it through. But we'll just have to see how well they're able to do here now that they have the opportunity once again.
And I do got to say, the 3 players that are on Purdue, we've mentioned 2 of them, Enchanted, Duck. You cannot forget about Plane. You cannot forget about that third Plane. That guy right there is someone that when I first saw the team names and the change, I hadn't seen Plane before. I think when I first started doing Purdue, and when they started playing, I was excited to see that happen, because it was a player that came out, and then at the first game that was on my personal stream, Plane was like the MVP of the match. Enchanted was a facilitator, and Plane was just scoring left and right. So I was like, oh, this is a massive, massive upgrade from whatever I've seen this roster beforehand. So
yeah, so I mean, St. Clair Gold, they also have a lot of experience with like CRL in general.
Yes.
They are a very good team. We saw in the qualifiers, though, their academy team qualified through the Open, but St. Clair Gold had to be invited because they ended up dropping out. Had a tough bracket to try and get through, but they also, now that they're here, they want a little bit of revenge here. They faced Cumberland in NECC, and they lost in 4, so they got swept out. But 3 of those were OTs, so they are looking forward to try and get their revenge a little bit later on. But right now, they have to have their sights set on Purdue here.
Yeah, obviously the stepping stones that you kind of look at in this kind of style of tournament with the groups and all that. I do think that I mean, you have 3 St. Clair teams here, Green, Gold, and Academy. Like, there's no chance that one of them doesn't make it further in the tournament, right? We obviously expect Green to go pretty far. I genuinely have Gold going through as well. We talked about it earlier on the B stream. I think this team is easily one of the top finishing teams in this tournament. But again, you got to start somewhere right now. They got to start against Purdue. And I wonder if they're getting something set up. I don't hear any game audio. Do you hear anything?
I hear a little bit. It looks like we're getting stuff set up to get the match underway, but Purdue, they haven't played yet today. They've been sitting by getting warmed up because they didn't play round 1, but St. Clair Gold, they took on their partners in St. Clair Green right away, and they lost to them in 5. So whether that's Green just still getting warmed up on the day or Gold rising to the level of challenge, they look to be a tough roster going forward.
100% agreed, Sleeper. I 100% agree. I think that we cannot sleep on either team. I mean, look what happened with our first match. For anybody who wasn't paying attention to the B stream, UTK and Fisher played. That was a game 5.
Yeah.
And that was an unexpected game 5 at that.
It was a reverse sweep game 5.
Yes, it was.
That Fisher ended up winning and completing the reverse sweep. So we have our first official reverse sweep on BBB land for spring 2025, that being Fisher taking down UTK. We've seen that a little bit. UTK last night, they had a little bit of trouble closing out series. They took the early lead, and then they just couldn't close it out. So whether that's a hint of what's to come throughout the rest of the rounds in the tournament, we'll have to see. But right now, St. Clair Gold versus Purdue Gold. Again, Gold flying all around the board.
Exactly. The Boilermakers taking on, who is St. Clair? I forget their mascot's name.
Ooh. That's not a me kind of question.
That's not a you kind of question.
I'm
you don't got
too
the kind of
familiar
info
with mascots.
You don't got the mascots.
Everything.
You don't got the team name.
Unfortunately,
Oh,
no.
We'll check it out. Hey guys, look at there. There's the Boilermakers themselves. Big smile on Enchanted's face,
and
right there.
You see as well, both Enchanted and Duck, KBM players.
Yes,
high level KBM players at that. So they are very familiar
Enchanted's
with the game.
holding the controller. He's got it hiding under the desk. See.
He's hiding it, man.
No.
I talked to him earlier. I swear he told me he was a KVM player.
Look, and Duck's laughing at you.
Maybe he was just lying to me.
I wouldn't think that Enchanted be lying. Well,
he wanted to appear more skilled than he actually was. But, I mean, Duck, he is a full-on KBM player and a very skilled one at that.
For sure. But maybe we get a look over there at St. Clair Gold. Check them out. Look at these guys locked in. Coach standing behind them, getting ready to go. We're trying to figure out, I guess, if they can get everything settled. But I know that these guys are ready to play, like you said. They're ready to prove that they absolutely deserve to be here. They're one of the top teams. I love the fact that if you take a look at their sleeves, there's you got Canadian, I believe that's French on the end there.
That's Italian.
Okay, I didn't see the green. I saw the thing. So they'll get me getting called out in 4K in front of everybody right there.
Well, it's Christian Fatal Embarrassed. That is the side of St. Clair Gold. Again, this is their first week that they're really playing together, and their scrims, they felt great, but they haven't faced anyone too high up on that CRL ladder. But, I mean, when you feel confident with each other, that's the important thing. We see the full stage set up there. Beautiful stage here at the University of Kentucky, the Esports Theater that we have. And, again, a wonderful event for BBB, sponsored by Gen G Mobile One Racing. So we've got a great event taking place the entire weekend. We've still got 3 more rounds after this matchup here taking place on the mainstream. We have Concord Ball State after this one, and then Northwood Fisher.
What a series.
And Maryville Akron Blue.
Yeah.
So we just have banger after banger after banger here.
I mean, we're currently about to witness one.
That is true.
We started
It's
with
also
one.
true.
Nothing but bangers here at BBB.
Every match is a great one.
That's actually what BBB stands for, is banger, banger, banger. Not Bluegrass Boost Battle. Chipmunk had it all wrong. But actually, big shout out to Chipmunk for putting all this on.
Shout out Chipmunk and DJ, both of them helping to get this event ran and all put out together and out for you guys. And shout out the production as well here in Kentucky. Everyone is doing a fantastic job of helping everything run so smoothly. And if there is an issue that arises, it gets fixed very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
And so that we can continue on with this competition.
I mean, it took less than 15 minutes, 20 minutes for us to get the B stream completely set up after we were freaking out about trying to figure it out. So I wonder if I wonder how everything's going here. We got the coach leaning over middle PC there on St. Clair Gold. I guess they're trying to figure out if we can get in or get everything set up. I do know that we had to change a little bit on the B stream. We couldn't do the LAN match. I don't know if they're going to stick with that anymore.
I wonder if that's an issue with just that one player with that PC specifically, or if it will be a constant issue. Again, we've had, I know in the past, last time I was here, we had a little bit of issues with the LAN match connection. So we'll have to see if that persists or if that isn't the issue and it might be something else. Again, we aren't able to peek in and see exactly what is going on here, whether they're just still getting ready and warmed up before getting into the match or what is happening. But I got one more point here that St. Clair Gold felt like had to be known, and that is that Barrist, he has the best accent and the most riz, not self-proclaimed.
Oh.
I swear. Trust me, bro. And they'll try to discombobulate anyone they play. We'll have to see if that's a factor here against Purdue on the main stage.
And the Barris confirmed has the most riz.
Hey, he says it's not self-proclaimed.
It's not self-proclaimed.
Definitely not.
Yeah, well, Barris, if you're out there and you can hear us, give us the face that you riz everybody up with, huh? Let's see the face. Oh no, he's yelling. Oh no, he's yelling. I couldn't hear him.
All right.
He said start the match. That's right. We got production. Get the match going. Game 1 here on the main stream. St. Clair Saints goal. You knew, you had it. You should have known it was the Saints.
It was right in front of me, but yet I couldn't pluck it out of the water. But Purdue here, starting off a little bit strong, keeping it in the blue half to start this match off. But now St. Clair, they're finally getting the breakout into that orange just for a brief moment here before they need to collect on their own half once again.
Opportunities are going to arise left and right for both these squads. And you and I, again, as familiar as we are with the Boilermakers and their offense, I do got to sit here and say that, I'm worried when it comes to the firepower that Gold on the side of St. Clair does possess. They make a name for themselves in CRL more often than not. They are one of the top finishing teams alongside of their brother team in green. So it just makes me nervous to see, but we got to have faith that Purdue is going to step up here in this moment.
Yeah, and St. Clair, in general, their school is a very good and very persistent esports program, specifically in Rocket League. Every team is a very difficult team. Although you technically have A, B, C, all three are here. All three have that very high level of competition, and you can't sleep on any one of them, no matter what their surname may be, whether it's Green or Academy, and specifically Gold.
Goal 1 to the Rizmeister himself, Barris, leading off the charge for St. Clair Saints. And I mean, it's got to be Barris, right? It's like we just hyped him up. He just made that last comment. It's got to be the guy who opens up the scoring. But I feel like this puts Purdue in the prime position for where they want to be. Purdue seem to always play incredibly well when I feel like they're on the back foot. That could be just me and the times that I have seen them, but I feel like they do play well.
Yeah, they are, again, a very good team. A lot of players playing together for a long time, so they have a lot of chemistry built up over the semesters and years that they've been playing. But you have to wonder what kind of Purdue is going to show up, because we've seen Purdue, they have very good pop-off potential, but at the same time, we've seen them have issues here and there where they really aren't able to get a foothold in a series. We'll have to wonder if that's going to be the case this time around, but from what we've seen so far, they're doing a good job of holding their own, only keeping St. Clair to 1 goal so far, and we're nearly at halftime.
Opportunity needs to arise for them to score. However, Fatal with the great touch. No one can turn it in. However, Plain is able to get that one away. Duck needs to push this towards the mid. Gets cut off by Barris. Enchanted now a chance to take possession. Move it outside of the orange. They finally get a moment to breathe. Maybe steal some boost. That's a good grab out of the corner. Plain looking for one off the back wall. It's not going to be followed through. Enchanted late to that jump there, and they now have to reset for the approaching attack.
Yeah, Barris keeping control of that over to Fatal. That one's going to be towards the net. It's able to be saved away by Enchanted. Christian just has to try and get a challenge back. Now Plain taking it upfield for Purdue, trying to get the flip under Fatal, but he is able to read the play and not allow that one to get by him. Looking for a counterattack now. No real sustained pressure, so it's going to go right back into the hands of Enchanted.
Ooh. Challenge on the back line. Plane gets one towards the net. Looking for Duck in the middle. Actually, it's Enchanted who jumps. I feel like Duck probably had the better opportunity there, but Enchanted maybe felt he had the best one. Play breaking down in the mid pretty regularly now that we finally got that one goal out of their system. But gotta see a lot more here from the Boilermakers. I think that they haven't had a real foothold in their offense. They haven't found their lane to attack, and that demo is not going to do any good. Dink off the crossbar, down and in for Fatal. Rack it up 2 for St. Clair Gold.
I mean, that's just some great control coming out from him there. And Bears taking out really the only member of Purdue who could have done something to stop that one. Great demo from him coming out. Purdue, like you were saying, they have looked pretty decent, but it's just getting that foothold in the offensive half and looking more comfortable in their own half as well. And it's going to be the things to really shore up here for their themselves through the rest of the series. Obviously, St. Clair, though, they're just going to continue to ball around the defense.
Yeah, well, again, you saw the setup. Christian saw that one early as well from Fatal. Beautiful pass to St. Clair Gold. And it's 3-0 right now. And maybe my idea was wrong about Purdue in the sense they play a little better on their back foot, but obviously they're feeling that pressure. They know that they need to step up to the task.
Yeah, great bump there from Duck, but fortunately no follow-up from Purdue. Now Fatal's going to take it off the ceiling shot. Going to be on target, saved away by Plane. Now Christian going to try again through the corner. Getting it down across the goal line, but all 3 members of Purdue there. Trying to clear it up the field, push it back into the offensive half, but no boost for Plane means that Fatal's going to get some control. Duck trying to clear it down now past the midfield line. Barris not going to allow that to happen. Now Enchanted with an attempt, caught by Christian. Looking for the dunk on Plane, not able to get it. Now Fatal over to Barris one more time. That shot is going to be good. 4-0 here for St. Clair Gold.
And they have just continued to lay it on thick. We clearly see what's happening with the St. Clair team. Just, they are in full control. They 100% have this game on lock. If I am the Boilermakers, I'm definitely going to look to go next. Maybe get one little goal to kind of boost my confidence. And there it is! Enchanted off the demo play at the goal line from Duck. Big shout out there. Clearing Christian out the way. Maybe 13 seconds left. Yeah, it's garbage time, but it's something.
Yeah, I mean, they finally were able to get an attack to work on their offense, on the offensive half. And I think the real boon to them so far here is that just getting quality clears, because they've been able to get it away from their net from time to time. St. Clair Gold, though, when that clear doesn't go into space, they take control. Christian got bumped off by Enchanted there, but it was a little too late. He already had the pass through to Fatal. And as quickly as Purdue got one on the scoreboard, St. Clair get it right back.
I think at this point, I think it's just kind of par for the course. You know what I'm saying? Par for the course here for St. Clair Gold. They knew exactly what they were looking for in that game one. They wanted to establish dominance, establish the fact that, you know, we are here to control the pace of this series, and they did just that. We've got to look to game 2 here for Purdue Gold. You got to think to yourself, what's the game plan for their side? Are they going to be able to stand up to this team? Because those guys looked locked and ready to go.
I think the huge difference, you see it in the stat line, is the amount of offense that these teams have had. We had 12 shots to the side of St. Clair Gold compared to Purdue's 1.
Yep.
Purdue had 1 shot. They did get a goal from it, but it was only 1 shot the entire game. They need to look to push into offense a lot more and even try and get, whether it's an easy shot to save away, they need some sort of offensive presence to get themselves going in this series.
Yeah, and it comes from being able to control the ball, lots of possession. We saw a lot of possession from St. Clair Gold. You can see these guys are smiling. They're happy with that game. Chatting it up with the coach back there as well. They're ready to go for game 2, I'm sure. But taking a moment is a big thing for a losing team in this situation. They got a whole minute to talk. Purdue gets that chance, especially with the last goal being scored. You know, the the copium, hey, we scored less, that means we won, right?
I mean, St. Clair Gold, they also did score last, and they got the victory. 5-1.
You know what I mean.
The score line. Purdue, they were able to get one towards the end of the match, but at the same time, St. Clair have done an outstanding job of taking control of the ball in that mid-third of the field, as well as in Purdue's half as well. They haven't really allowed Purdue to take control of whether it be the ball or the game. They have not allowed the space for Purdue to work.
Ooh, no, they have not. Suffocating the back line right there is the Saints. They're doing well enough. Try to gain that possession. Big clear downfield from Barris. Won't set up a teammate, unfortunately. Duck has a chance to alleviate some pressure. Enchanted gonna go ahead and steal the boost for his troubles as he marches back down towards the side of Purdue, but Fatal approaching. Could be a pass down to Barris. Barris is there, and it's just under the crossbar. St. Clair Gold kick it off again in game 2.
What a clean touch here from Barris. I mean, he was coming from under the ball, had to touch it just right to force the ball downwards, and he just dinks it off of the hood of his car down under the crossbar. And it's just a nice shot there from St. Clair Gold. Good team play as well. Fatal over to Barris for that shot. Now Enchanted trying to get something here for Purdue off of the kickoff. Can't get push anything to the net quite yet. Now Plains, he's going to get a shot, but it will be saved away by Barris.
Good opportunity there. Unfortunately, Purdue not able to turn that one in. Big demo from Plain. Fatal taken out of the play, but Enchanted not in a good opportunity to make a defensive block. Plain is going to have to put something on the net, but Fatal puts the fatal strike on goal number 2 down at the bottom of the net, unblockable.
Yeah, awkward touch there from Plain after Barris' shot. Set up Fatal beautifully. He went high in the sky, very fast, I might add, right off of Plain's touch, and he forced it through the net before anybody else from Purdue could recover on the defensive end. Now a team bump here off the kickoff gives St. Clair some room to work as well. That's off of the post. Enchanted able to clear it upfield. Fatal not making contact. Going to be off the post the other way, but it bounces out of the net and around. Now Plain just has to try again from that side wall, but it's taken away by Fatal.
I cannot believe they weren't able to turn that one in on the side of Purdue. That's tough to see. In that moment, you had an opportunity to kind of shoot on a semi-open net. Instead, you put it off the post. That one's got to hurt. Like we were talking about earlier, I think what Shane was mentioning it. Maybe it was last night or it was earlier today. Hearing that crossbar sound, hearing that ping has got to be rough. But what's got to be even rougher is being the last defending member getting beat as the final bastion by St. Clair Gold. And they go up 3-0.
Yeah, I feel like the issue with Purdue, you keep going back to it, but it's clearing the ball into space and taking control off of it, because they're able to find clears quite well and turn away St. Clair Gold, but at the end of the day, it lands right back into the hands of somebody from St. Clair, whether it's Fatal, Christian, or Barris, but they catch it in the midfield line in their own half, and then they turn it right back onto the offense, and that's when they're able to get those quick shots off and catch the defense off guard before they're able to recover in those rotations. And it's just been what St. Clair has punished time and time again.
Ooh, Duck and Enchanted getting mixed up right there on that attack plane. A little early there on the defensive block as well. They're trying to vie for that possession. Shot is low. Duck with the save. They need some juice. Need some juice in the tank right now, Purdue. You guys are running a bit low, and it's looking a bit dangerous with this St. Clair Gold team approaching. 3-0 is the deficit they have to try to knock down, and I know that's got to be a scary task.
Yeah, especially with 1:30 left on the clock. There's not a lot of time left here in game number 2, especially with the amount of control that St. Clair have had in this series and this game specifically as well. But Barris, that's just a clean double touch.
I know you hear him.
No one else from Purdue able to get anywhere near the ball. I mean, Plain had a chance. Barris already passed him. Enchanted wasn't able to read it quite right. And that's 4-0 now for the side of St. Clair. And just like we said earlier, they are feeling confident. They know they are a very good team, and they are proving it on the pitch right here.
Again, yeah, it's tough. I feel for Purdue. I know that this is a pretty high-level opponent, Duck, trying to race this one down on the pass. Fatal, good touch off the back wall. Not exactly the pass that Duck was looking for down to Plain. Unfortunately, they're going to have to march back on this one. Reset on possession. Big clear out. Enchanted threw that one away, unfortunately. And they're going to have to play again from the mid, trying to block the approaching St. Clair Gold team. And with one, that's heavy-handed. Enchanted keeps it low, and that's 1, 2, 3. Enchanted has absolutely sliced and diced the opponent.
This is why Purdue, you can't exactly count them out even when it hasn't quite gone their way. They have the ability to just pull out goals like that, especially Enchanted. He's been the longest standing member here on Purdue, and he is just a wonder with the ball when given just the tiniest bit of room to work with.
That was all you needed to. One, and again, it was heavy-handed. I thought he was going to lose control of that one, but able to gain it back. 30 seconds, one more is what Enchanted is looking for. So right now, though the score lines are low for the Boilermakers, it has not been a perfect sweep, and that was what I feared before they scored the first goal in game one.
Yeah, St. Clair, as good as they have been doing, it hasn't been a complete blowout. Purdue, they've had some good looks, but at the end of the day, St. Clair are the ones that have got the goals in their favor, and they really have the control in the series. They do not look to relinquish that at all as they secure game number 2 with a final score of 4-1, just one goal less than the first time around.
And again, you have to look to this 1 minute between games, right? Very crucial 1 minute. And obviously, St. Clair Gold feeling pretty good about themselves. Like I said, after the first game, they were all smiles. Second game, clearly all smiles. Purdue, they're probably still all smiles. I mean, they're doing what they can. They're doing what they can to talk through themselves. I don't see that they have a coach standing behind them like St. Clair Gold does here. But I know that they're doing what they can with what they got. And being that you have an opponent that has, I mean, this is what, top 12 CRL?
I'd probably say so.
Yeah, top 12, close to top 8. And this isn't even the actual St. Clair Gold roster. There's a couple of, or one or two players moved up from the academy. Impressive. Just absolutely impressive.
Yeah, and we see it again. I mean, the stat lines. St. Clair, they had 12 shots again in game number 2. Purdue looking to start off strong here. They have a good offensive look right away, but again, St. Clair able to cover up on the defensive end. Not able to get the clear out quite yet. And Purdue, they looked a little bit better on the offensive half as well in the last game. They had 4 shots compared to only the 1 that they had in game number 1. And they look to get some more here. Still not a goal to show for it quite yet, though, as St. Clair, they're now starting to transition on offense.
They need to really use this chance to push on a counter on the side of Purdue. Have you seen the moment where they gain solid possession, they approach the final third, and they just absolutely lose control until that one crazy shot, maybe right here, almost getting through his plane. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. We've seen it a couple times here, but now St. Clair bringing it right back down, marching it down the other side of the pitch plane. Gonna take control, able to get it around 1. Still stuck in the corner, though. Can't get it around to try and find a shot through the target. But now St. Clair, it will be their time to try and counterattack here.
Oh, that's so awkward on the defense. No, Purdue. You guys, okay, hang on. If they score this, they got so lucky. That is the luckiest blunder I have ever seen in my life. That is comedy at its finest.
I don't understand how that happens. There was a double whiff on the side of Purdue, ball rolling right on the goal line. Christian was there. He waited for the ball to go off the post instead of just taking the shot. Maybe he was a little bit too far behind. I couldn't quite tell from the angle that we received, but and then it doinks off the post.
Yep.
And they turn it right back around. All of St. Clair Gold committed on that offensive third. They were able to push it out. Looking for a second here. Enchanted's shot goes wide of the net. Lane following it up to the middle of the pitch, but Nobody there to push it through to the net. But like you said, Taquito, that is just such a lucky set of circumstances for Purdue to gain the lead as well here in Game 3.
Yeah, and not to say that they're not talented enough to do so, but it was just very fortunate they found themselves lucky in that moment. I do think, though, with this pressure being built again, unless Enchanted commits a little too early and gives up that defensive prowess, good bump from Fatal there. Wide open net in this moment. Someone's got to get back. Enchanted, no boost, does get a touch. A small 50 is better than none. Good boost there from Plain, sitting in net waiting for Duck to at least call for help or call off, and they get a big clear. Time for the Boilermakers to shake things up.
That one goes wide of the net as well. Enchanted still looking to continue the Purdue attack, but Christian able to bring it out into that orange half. Try and get St. Clair on the offensive footing once again. They haven't really found a foothold yet in this Purdue half of the field. It's been a much better job from the Boilermakers to keep this to a much closer game than what we've seen previously, at least in the possession and control side of things. Now Plain able to bring it out. Again, looking to get at least a cushion goal to be a little bit more comfortable through the rest of the time on the clock. I think Claire not going to let that happen quite yet. Now Plain able to clear all the way back down. Christian retreat, lobs the ball up, but right into the hands of Duck. But Fatal able to push it into that orange half. Now St. Clair looking to do some damage.
Yeah, well, they've got to put it together on offense right now. Something they haven't done just yet, which I am confused by. I mean, I don't think Purdue woke up this Game 3 and was a completely different team. They just happened to take the lead. Do you think that may be all that matters here this moment? Hang on, Fatal with the play here. Enchanted could not push it out of the corner. Christian there to back it up, and that will be at least the tying goal in the final 60 seconds.
Yeah, Christian hitting the weight rooms before coming on down to BBB, muscling that one through the defense to bring it to an even scoreline. Just under a minute left to play, 58 seconds exactly, and that's a kickoff goal for Enchanted. He'll take it, and now Purdue have the lead once again. Only 2 seconds have elapsed since that kickoff.
Still plenty of time. There's still so much time left in this Game 3, and I am liking the fact that Purdue is trying to turn this into a series. It's been my favorite part. It's going to be a waterfall touch. Plain leaves it to Duck to own goal.
Yeah, not a great touch on the defensive end there from Purdue, and we have 7 seconds that have passed since the last goal now.
Still so much time.
In 9 seconds, we have 2 goals.
So much time.
And in the first 4 minutes, we had 2 goals.
Yes. Makes sense. This is Collegiate Rocket League. What do you expect?
Especially on land. Bump there from Duck. Too many similar words all at once.
True.
Now Enchanted trying to set up Purdue on the offensive half. The shot from Duck able to be saved and pinched away by St. Clair Gold. Enchanted on the attack. Once again, can't get it around Barrist in the corner. Duck is going to be there to challenge. Barrist getting a couple good 50s. That one bouncing back into the blue half. Barrist unable to get a touch there. Christian able to take control. St. Clair Gold looking to break out in the last 10 seconds to try and take the lead with minimal time. Off the crossbar. One shot is going to go wide of the net. Fatal setting up Christian once again. Blocked by Purdue. Double commit, though. Now Fatal in the air. He got the boost steal in the corner, but it's turned away. Barrist with a catch, trying to push it over to the sidewall. It hits the ground. We have overtime in Game 3.
Very important overtime here for Purdue. I think they are going to be able to extend the series, in my opinion, with the way they've played this Game 3. I do see it happening, but it's going to break down if they are not able to challenge that control well from St. Clair Gold.
Well, it was looking a lot better here for Game 3 for Purdue, but a couple of good challenges in overtime ends up being the benefactor of St. Clair Gold. They get the victory in the series, and it was a little bit of a different matchup in that last game. We saw in Game 1 and 2, St. Clair, they really took firm control of it. In Game 3, it was a lot closer, but at the end of the day, they secured the victory and got the sweep over Purdue.
They did. And again, love the sportsmanship here coming over with the fist bumps. Obviously, Purdue, since the series started, you could tell that they were fully aware that this was going to be tough. And to take game 3 to overtime, 1-goal game, like I said, with that control at the end, if they were able to fend it off from the St. Clair Gold squad, I do think that was a completely different game. But those few bumps, that crucial possession that cleared at the very end, what can you do about it?
Yeah, they also ended up being a couple lucky goals for the side of Purdue. They tried taking advantage, but at the end of the day, with you couldn't let the sleeping beast sleep for too long, because eventually they would wake up, and they did it in overtime. They really showed why they took control of 1 and 2 earlier on in the series, and they proved it in the overtime. They were like, oh yeah, we need to win this series. That's right. So they took it down. They took down Purdue, and they moved on to. They are now 1-1 in their group stage after losing in 5 again to St. Clair Green, which is a great showing from them. So they are looking. And we saw probably why they were able to keep it so close with Green, because they had such a great possession game here in this series.
You got any other results you want to kind of chirp off for us a little bit?
Well, I don't know if we have any results that have come in yet. I will check real quick, but I know coming up next on the mainstream is Concord Ball State. That's going to be another great matchup.
Yeah,
so make sure to stick around.
We have some games that have happened at least. I mean, we saw our UTK Fisher, the reverse sweep, first ever for BBB.
Yeah, well, for this BBB.
Yeah.
But I believe we don't really have many results coming in that we can see, at least, but we do have an interview on the stage, so let's go there and take it away.
Well, how kind of you, Sleeper and Taquito. Thank you for sending it here to the stage after a very nice St. Clair Gold win. I'm here with Barris, and you guys know how to have a lot of fun. I think St. Clair as a program does that well. How is this series in terms of y'all getting acclimated to Kentucky?
I mean, we just need to start with, discombobulate them very hard in the first 2 games. And we're just having fun, we know what we are capable of. So we might just also have some fun with it.
So also, before you guys came on stage, you took St. Clair Green all the way to 5. Give us a little bit of insight. What happened in that series?
I mean, we're just good. You don't underestimate us, man. Don't underestimate us. We also discombobulate them as well. I mean, I can't say on stream what we said to them because I don't want to get you guys in trouble. But we know their weak points. Also Arjo is Italian like me. I live with him, so I know how to stimulate the right points.
Stimulate the right points. You heard it here from Barris first. You heard what he said. That's what he said. He's going to stand on that. But, all right, I'll leave you with one more question. So now that you guys have survived through the first part, you're 1-1 in your group, how do you guys feel about the rest of your group for the rest of the day?
We feel confident about the University of Kentucky we have, I think, yeah. We feel confident about that. Cumberland is going to be a great match. We already faced them in an ECC, I think. We lost 4-0, but all game was, I think 3 games out of 4 were in overtime. So it's going to be a great game for sure. Watch it.
Well, you heard it here. I mean, confidence and stimulation in the words of Barris. So we'll go to break. We'll be back in just a second.